Hello and welcome to another video in a community that believes weird is wonderful and magic is real, and welcome to a very much asked for video, or at least part of a video. No, it's a whole video, but it's part of what you asked for and what we planned to deliver, and that is all the goods, or some of the goods that we got from Disneyland. More specifically, I'm going to be showing you everything that is Haunted Mansion, because as it turned out, that was a lot of stuff. So we needed to separate it, as well as Nightmare Before Christmas, because they just go hand in hand. So that's what this video will be. Let's dive in, because there is a lot, my friends. Lumos. Right here, and yes, we did get our paws on the 70th anniversary reusable bags. So in this bag, this one is actually, you can't tell because it's a very large bag. It's much lighter. This is the Nightmare Before Christmas stuff. Where do we begin? I think the first item, we kind of have little sections. It's nowhere near the amount of Haunted Mansion, okay? We will talk about it. But I have a lot to show you. It's why we split up the Disneyland haul. So the other one will come sometime early September, and it's going to be everything that is not Haunted Mansion or Nightmare Before Christmas. So the first Nightmare Before Christmas item I'm going to go with is the one that we knew for sure we wanted to get, and that is the new Oogie Boogie mug. So I don't know. I can't even explain why we like this mug. It's Oogie Boogie for one. I think I like the pop of color. So he like pops in the first place. He's kind of like three-dimensional. And then all of his worms here are quite a contrast in mug. I also like the mug size. I'm kind of particular about mug sizes. It's like not too small, not too big. It's not an awkward shape to drink out of. I like the little stripy business and how Oogie kind of continues on the handle there. And I'm not going to list off all prices. This one is $25, but I felt like it was quite reasonable for a mug that you would find even at like Home Goods, but better quality, because honestly, Disney, the quality is like chef's kiss, okay? Rarely do I complain, if ever, about their quality. Okay, so we have one mug. Let's do the wearables. We had a number of wearables, but only one Nightmare Before Christmas, and this one's gonna be his. I kind of contemplated doing it. I don't wear a lot of blue. I might explore it, but it's a really cool shirt, and it is this one right here. Everything it was at least new at the time, and I would say is probably still new. So we have Jack Skellington, loud and proud, and he's just very simple, but he really stands out, not just because of his size, but I like that the shadowing of him is a blue color. So there he is. And the other thing is, like, when I reached for this, so we could look at it, the t-shirt itself is just a really nice soft fabric. I will say the printing of Jack on here, it is, and I've heard this before with some Disney shirts, all of them are done differently, it seems. It's quite thick. So I don't know, maybe that means it lasts longer, maybe that means it wears off more easily. But it is also on this like acid washed kind of like, you know, gray shirt, which is kind of one of my favorite colors. Is that a color? One of my favorite types of shirts. And then the back says Disneyland Resort, which I was actually even avoiding things that said resort until I realized that's actually what Disneyland is called. So we have Disneyland Resort right there. Simple, classic, quite obvious on what fandom that is. So just one wearable. Let's now move to the plushes, of which, you know, I had to get. I love me a plush, and these are probably going to go in the Rumpus room, which is like the formerly almost all Disney, not completely all Disney room. And the number one, so they had a few plushes, and I have seen a plush of Jack himself before, mainly at Spirit Halloween. You can even say Spencer's because they're owned by the same company. But I just felt like the quality on this Jack was so much better. And he is his classic skinny longness, but he's so soft. He's structured really well, I felt like, compared to the ones that I've seen from Spirit Halloween. Who knows? Maybe they're the same exact thing and I just don't know what I'm talking about. I don't imagine they are, because Disney just does their own thing. But yeah, he's really, really soft. He's in his stripy shirt. He's got his little skelly like lines right there. His classic bow is sort of a felty business, but not done in a cheap way. And he is quite long. He even has his little tail coat. I think that's what that's called, right? The tail on the coat right there. So there he is. I will also say there is a Santa Jack available. I almost got him, but we thought we'd start with just Jack. Almost. Okay, I couldn't leave Jack alone. Sally is actually not my favorite, at least in merchandise. I'm not opposed to Sally. I like me a good, solid female character, but I just don't really love her on a lot of merchandise. We will get to a piece that I did get that I did love. So I didn't get Sally in the plush, but I did get Zero. I had to. Zero was available as just a regular plush like this, which is what I got, and also available as a shoulder pad, shoulder plush situation that you can put on your shoulder. I went with just the plush. I like the little velvety Halloween, the pumpkin on his nose. Is Zero a he? Is Zero gendered? I don't know. It is, $25 for Zero, so I did kind of pause, and we left the store, and then I came back, and I just was feeling the sadness. So I felt like Jack needed a companion. And then I actually don't know this character's name. Is it just Mummy? Mummy. I got this Mummy character, which, I mean, the tag is like half the size of this Mummy. I just want to point that out. But I also feel like sometimes when I see things on Disney's store, it's almost like Killstar a little bit. I feel like when I get them in person, I love them even more, and I appreciate the quality even more. Like, it's not just like painted on there, the lines that make them look like a mummy. They're just really well done. They're not stitched. It is actually printed on there, but I'm just saying, like, the print job is really, really good. And this sucker I got for like $5 and change. He was on clearance, and I think it's just his eye. It says glow in the dark, or it says eye glow. I think it might just be his eye. I don't really feel like testing it right now, but trust me, she glows in the dark. Those are our plushes. Let us now move to the beginning of a collection that we will also be exploring in Haunted Mansion, and that is ornaments, because I got the final approval. Actually, it's in the building. She has arrived a Halloween tree, and by Halloween tree, I mean a black tree. We won't have a lot of space, like ornament-wise, so we just wanted to pick the ones that are like our favorites. And in my humble opinion, Disney, particularly Disney sketchbook ornaments, are I'm going to say it right this time, the creme de la creme of ornaments. I'm just not a huge fan of Hallmark. I know we don't need to throw shade while we're like saying nice things, but I just did. I just threw the shade. I really recommend Disney sketchbook ornaments, and that's what we got. Actually, are these even sketchbook? Just Disney ornaments. Just all the Disney stuff is just high quality stuff. So here's the first one, and it's the one that caught my eye the most. I love like an interactive situation. So first of all, I just kind of wanted one of each character, unless something else really stood out and I couldn't resist. So this is my Jack Skellington ornament, and it's a carousel. There's the top of the carousel. We've got Jack right there on whatever that is, a seal of some kind. Then we have this polar bear over here, and the base kind of matching the top. But what's really cool is it is interactive. Jack just comes around on this carousel, and now I'm missing the ride that we went on at Disney on a carousel. If you get an opportunity to feel like a kid, a carousel will do that for you. So that is ornament number one. Then another one, and I'm not gonna lie, I've watched Nightmare Before Christmas a number of times, and I love it, but there are so many characters crammed, I feel like it's just a Tim Burton thing crammed in that movie, that I don't actually remember these characters, so when I go to watch it back this Halloween, I'm gonna pay attention. I just felt like the detail of this ornament was so cool. So I think these are villagers, if I'm remembering, at minimum. It might even like say it on there. Does it say it on there? No, it does not. So we have some villagers playing some instruments. It's so detailed. I love the little lantern situation right there. But the other thing that's really cool, and we didn't know about it until it came in, is it actually plays music. So let me get it sorted. And how cool is that? I think it's cool. So that's ornament number 2. And so now we have some villagers. We have Jack. We have to have Oogie Boogie himself. And this is the ornament they had, and I love it. I've seen Oogie Boogie ornaments in the past, but this might be my favorite. So he's got like bugs, his worms like crawling all over him. This little insect, which I actually had to just look a clip up a couple days ago to be reminded of it. But it's just so cute and detailed. I love the little spiky situation on the base there. I like that Oogie is actually like, I feel like sometimes the green isn't always done properly, and sometimes it's just to experiment and go maybe more of a neon version, but when they're trying to do it accurately, like, I don't know if you remember the Jim Shore piece that we saw when we went Halloween hunting at Home Goods. I was not a fan. It was like really paled out, if that's even a word. So I really like that Oogie Boogie. And the last ornament and the last item from this Nightmare Before Christmas haul, we actually, in our last 20 minutes, booked it to go find this one, actually to get all of them, and then we couldn't find this one, which ironically is the character I don't collect a lot of, and that is Sally, because when I saw this Sally ornament, which last I have seen is not available online, but everything else is, I could be wrong. As always, I'll try to link anything down below that is online, but I just thought she was so stinking cute, and I don't know what it is that's different about this Sally. Maybe it's the cat, maybe it's the pumpkin, maybe it's the glitter on the snow. Maybe it's also like, one thing I don't gravitate toward with Sally is her outfit is always so bright, the patchwork like dress, and this one is a lot more muted. I have to go back to the movie to see, you know, what that actually looks like, but there it is. There's the backside. Like, they finish everything. That's what I love about Disney. Speaking of finishing, that is the wrap on A Nightmare Before Christmas. Let's now move to Haunted Mansion. I just want you to know, I'm telling the truth here. It is so much. And are you seeing it? Here, let me just slide it. Shoot, like a little train here. There have been a number of comments saying that you're really, really excited for not just the merchandise, but particularly Haunted Mansion stuff. This is just the beginning, my friends, and this is just the license, like straight from Disney stuff. So we have a lot to show you. Let me section this out and figure out what the heck I'm doing. So I'm gonna start with ornaments, because we just finished with ornaments. And the first one I'm gonna start with, maybe you can tell me, but I haven't seen it show up on the shop, and I'm so glad that we got it at Disneyland. It is the classic Haunted Mansion sign, almost the same, because this one's actually interactive, that you would see on the outside of the gate when you are walking in the same kind of color there, but it flips right here. Actually, I don't remember what's on the back. Oh, it's the hitchhiking ghosts on the back, and I believe the mold is the same on both sides, but it's so, so cute. I don't know why they didn't put it on the shop online. Maybe they have at this point, but either way, I'm glad we got it. And ornament number 2, she's a little hard to see because of the tags. I didn't want to take them off just yet, but they're almost like the Irresistibles, yeah, you would say, like size-wise. Yeah, a little, if you're familiar with the Irresistibles, they're just like little collectible ears, like a little Mickey ear hat, but, you know, normally themed to whatever it is. And this one has the hitchhiking ghosts. You have the classic like wallpaper right there. I like the contrast of the ears, and I like that there's like a different hitchhiking ghost on each ear, and then of course one in the middle because you have 3 total. And then the back side, I actually just noticed, is this little stripy business that we're also familiar with, and Welcome Foolish Mortals is on the back. And then this one lights up. Let's take some battery stopper out there and light her up. Obviously you can't see too well unless I shut the lights off, but it does appear to be mainly the middle guy right there that lights up, but so cute. I might be, if you can't tell by the amount of items here, mildly obsessed, more than mildly obsessed with Haunted Mansion. We will be talking about it so much more. So next one is an item I would like to find a replica version, like a real life full-size replica version, and that is the grandfather clock. So very kind of simple, but again, Disney does the details. Like you can feel the texture there, the actual clock kind of moves. It's not like you put a battery in sort of things, but you know, it's a small piece. It's just so cute and detailed and a classic piece that you would see when going through the Haunted Mansion. Fourth item, I will also say, I don't know about you guys, and I think maybe we said this in the chatting thing about Disney, is like one of the fun things about going on a vacation is just going through all of your stuff. And this is sat in a bag, and I'm just like, I'm so excited to like remember what we got because we will be decorating with it. The next ornament we have are the opera singers, apparently also called the Phantom of the Opera Singers, in a doom buggy, which, by the by, if you all see a doom buggy looking chair out there, you know, that looks comfy, but kind of gives the doom buggy vibes, just let a girl know, okay? We might be doing some decorating at some point. But really, really cute. I love the hair coming all the way down here. And then this one also lights up. And this one lights up quite a bit more. So there they are, both of them lit up. So cute. And then here's the back side of that one. All right, I'm going to do this one that is out. This is also, do they all light up? I guess that's really fitting for Haunted Mansion. We have the omnipresent Madame Leota. I could live in Madame Leota's shop, I'm just saying. Want to bring those vibes into the house here. So there she is in her crystal ball. And actually, before I turn it, just so you can see the whole backside, I feel like the way they did this, you know, you could have gone with the method of like that old school, like, was like at a mall where you like do a little etching on the inside. And it just looks really stupid. And they didn't do that. I felt like the quality was really nice in the way they pulled it off. It felt quite realistic. So let's light it up. I love it. That one's not as bright a white, which I feel like works a lot more. And I don't know if you can see like all of her hair. It continues all the way through the back. So cool. All right, if you're a Haunted Mansion fan and you have favorites in the Haunted Mansion, do let a girl know. And maybe my favorites will change. I feel like the Hitchhiking Ghosts, the Hatbox Ghost, and the groundskeeper and his dog are my favorite. So I just had to get the groundskeeper and his dog. So he's a little different. They came out with a number of them that are in like a glass sort of cloche. I think this is the only one that is like a round one. They have others like stretching room characters that are in more like taller cloches. But there he is, the groundskeeper, looking just like you would see him on the ride in the mansion with his lantern and his little dog. And his little dog too. But I love even the like backside and how it's attached. You've got a tree, because if you don't know, he's also surrounded by trees. I just love his little spooked face. Look at that little face. He's so spooked, and I love his little dog. I'm a little concerned that that dog might be a little malnourished, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, kind of fitting for Haunted Mansion. The other thing I didn't say about the ornaments, I don't know if you saw, but when it comes to the ribbon, like that you would actually hang up, like that one's purple. This one is like a light greenish color. This one is kind of a gold color. They're going with the color palette of the item. They could have been really lazy about it and just done black for everything. So I just appreciate the details when Disney does things. Next section in Haunted Mansion, I'm going to do pins. I'm not gonna lie, I felt like we were gonna go a little bit more nutso when it came to pins, and we didn't go light on the pins either. You will see more of them in the non-Haunted Mansion Night Before Christmas video. But, I mean, it's a decent amount. So, for starters, there were, I think, 3 or 4 different kinds of 70th anniversary pins, and one of them was Haunted Mansion, particularly the Hatbox Ghost, because we were lucky enough to be there for the 70th. It would be nice to be there for the, I don't know, 71st and 2nd and 3rd and 4th. I was going to say the 75th, but let's not mess around here. So they're all in that similar color palette. It's not just Haunted Mansion in that like light blue and all of that, but I feel like it's the most fitting for Haunted Mansion. So we have the Hatbox Ghost, and we might as well continue with him. The second Hatbox Ghost pin we have is this one. It's a little bit more classic, like this isn't part of the 70th line, but it was a newer item, I do believe. And he, like I said, is one of my favorite characters in the Haunted Mansion, so I had to have him. And if you aren't familiar with Disney pins, they do have the cutest little Mickey-shaped backings there. So there's that one. if you hardcore Disney fans were paying attention, you may have already corrected me. But my other favorite here is actually called the Caretaker, not the Groundskeeper. This isn't like Hogwarts here, Aubrey. So the Caretaker and his dog. Does his dog actually have a name? Well, we have since learned that apparently there was a time, and maybe that time will come back because I would love this opportunity. The Caretaker was doing meet and greets. I don't know if we saw what year, but... And during those meet and greets, he referred to his dog as Bones. So there has been a time where this dog was referenced by name. And it's the cutest little dog. I do want to give him some food, but he's the cutest. And I almost hesitated on this one because it's a little bit cartoony, but like, let's be honest, there is a little bit of like cartooniness. And if you are at all curious, I did share in the Discord group, but I can link it down below. There's a really great video out there. There's probably a number of others getting into the sort of like lore history of the creation of Haunted Mansion. And that was supposed to be tied into something I was just saying. But either way, I recommend it. All right. The last sort of individual pin is, I think, actually the first pin we bought along with the 70th. And it is Madame Leota. I feel like, so a lot of pins are either the kind of pin that I would put on a pin board. Some of them I would do both, or they're just the kind of pin that I would wear. And this for me is a very like wearable pin. It's also kind of flat. So I feel like, I don't know what I was going to go with there. Maybe because it's not as elaborate. I wouldn't feel like it only can go on a pin board. But I also feel like the color palette would be really nice on outfits that I would wear, or just probably more likely on a bag, like a strap or something like that. The last item that I got that is kind of a pin set. I hesitated because, you know, it's not particularly cheap, but what was it, like almost $50 or something, or $45? It was somewhere in that range. I think it was $44.99. It is a lanyard pin set. And I do have a lanyard. It is an Aragog lanyard. It is from Hot Topic, so it actually has like a little kind of a cheap clasp, if you will, on the back that comes undone. I'm kind of curious. You know what? Let's take it out and see. Or maybe before I do, it might be hard to show you the pins. Let me show you the pins. So what's really cool, the lanyard itself is that nice pretty purple. Is it a wallpaper or what is going on there? I think it's more of just different imagery. I think we have the sign there, a whole bunch of different things, like a collage of stuff. But I just like the purple. And then we have 4 pins. So there is pin 1. I can't see from over here. Is that the bride? Oh, no, that's one of the stretching room characters, Arcanize the Umbrella. Then we have the Hatbox Ghost over here. And I believe that is Madame Leota. I am on the other side here, so I can't see. And then that is the bride. So that's actually my first bride pin there. So I love that it comes in a set of 4, and I'll probably be adding more pins to this one. Let's see what the whole thing looks like. Oh, okay. Yeah. All right. You know what? I'm not going to take the whole thing off. She's a hot mess. But it is a like complete strap. So there's no little like clippy business that can come undone. And then the base of it, minus the ginormous tack, is going to give you the opportunity to attach an actual like badge holder, which I would like to find one out there that is like Haunted Mansion or just plays really well with that. So that is the last of the pin section. We are about to dive into possibly some of my favorite items, maybe even just acquired this year, like period, not just from Disney. First item, I'm going to start actually with the small items, is a keychain. And this might be, there's one more keychain I got that you'll see in the other video, but this one might be my favorite. Partly because it's Haunted Mansion. So we have a keychain, and there's a lot going on with this keychain. We have all 3 hitchhiking ghosts. We have the Caretaker, and then we have Madame Leota in the middle there. So it does say the Haunted Mansion, and where's our Caretaker? I think he's right at the top. Look at him. He's looking spooked with his lantern. Here is the backside, but what I love the most about it, I love the design, is it is like basically a fidget toy. You could just spin this sucker to your heart's desire, to your ghoulish desires. And I done spun this thing quite a lot, especially during the parade. I was very overstimulated, and it's just a nice thing. It doesn't make, I was gonna say it doesn't make a lot of noise, it makes a little bit. But I'll 100% be putting this on my keychain ASAP and utilizing the spinny business as a fidget spinner. I don't think this one is available online, but like I said, I will link everything down below. Speaking of not available online, we have a number of things that, well, you stop me if it has popped up online, because I've stopped myself because I might go a little mad. Well, we won't know until it's in the description down below. But basically, I made a list of items that I for sure wanted to get as long as they were there. That list was long and it was mostly Haunted Mansion. Does that surprise you? I just fell in love with it more when I rode the ride. And if you watched the video talking about that, then you would have seen that. And this was one of my top items. It is the Raven shoulder plush. It is a nice little plush. It's soft. She has an all black thing going on there, but you do get the pattern. They have some stitching there. They have a little bit of a pop of stitching on the beak. You have the red eyes, and then the actual magnet right here to go under your shoulder. Because for me, I did really want, we each wanted a shoulder plush. We each got one. We didn't get the main one that he wanted. But I wanted a shoulder plush that felt like it would be really fitting as something that would sit on your shoulder. And I mean, come on. And I also feel like the Raven, it's a way of broaching, like broaching, like witchy wizarding to Haunted Mansion. Like, do you, and Halloween, like, do you or do you not have crows and all of those things? Or sorry, Raven. I guess this wouldn't be a Raven, right? Does it say? All right, final answer, Raven. So I'm going to take the little battery protector out, and I'm pretty sure you just like pat its head. Let's find out. So it has like, I think, well, it's a little bit random. I kind of like it that it like doesn't talk or anything, which maybe it would be weird if it did, but yeah. I really love it. So maybe in some videos, I will have that on my shoulder. Another item that I wanted so bad, and I was feeling like there was probably a small chance that it would end up online. And I'm not sure it did land online, but I'm so excited to get it. It is a tumbler. Okay, it is one of the Starbucks tumblers, which I am not gonna lie, never thought I would buy a Starbucks tumbler. I get it, and I've become kind of a Starbucks person. Not to the point where I like know what size is actually the right name of things. I just say large, okay? But yeah, I never thought I would be a Starbucks cup. Like, a lot of them tend to be just too much going on. And actually a number of them I've really appreciated and liked. I think even like the more recent fall one. But OMG, I saw this and I had to have it, and it is obviously Haunted Mansion. So it is the tall tumbler. Actually don't know what size. Does this say? No idea, but you're going to get yourself a very large drink in this thing. And it is that classic purple, because if I had to pick a color, let me keep my paws over here so you can see it. If I had to pick a color that I love, that is not black, it would probably be purple. And I blame Haunted Mansion, but even as a kid, purple was my favorite color. And it is the wallpaper. So the whole thing is purple, except the wallpaper is like this really, it's like a deep black purple. Basically the shadow of it is a different color purple where the base is black. It's so pretty. It plays so well with the thing. You do have the Starbucks logo, which normally I'm not a logo like sporting person, but it's so subtle in there that it lets the whole thing like speak more loudly. And yeah, it just repeats all the way around. So, so pretty. Here is, well, the base is interesting, but then the other part is the straw topper. So the actual top is black, so that doesn't, like, it blends in nicely. But look at this bat. Bats are like one of my favorite creatures. It's certainly one of my favorite decor pieces, and it's one of the more iconic animals that you're going to see throughout Haunted Mansion in a number of ways. So I really, really loved it. It is a like silicone bit because it is a topper. But yeah, I don't know how long that will last, because regardless, I would still be using this cup. So next item was also on my list, and I blame the Disney vloggers out there. We watched so many vlogs, but also I have a couple items from different fandoms, a couple other versions from different fandoms of this kind of item. And I saw that they had a Haunted Mansion one, which I think came out this year. and that is their signature puzzles. These puzzles, I don't think, do correct me, ever really appear online. I'm pretty sure they are generally parks only. It even says Disney Parks signature puzzle. And now I shouldn't say not online because there are resellers out there, but yeah, I'm really, really excited. I feel like they're all maybe 1,000 pieces. I'll have to check my other ones, but this one is 1,000 pieces and it is Haunted Mansion. And we have like so much going on here. We have the 3 hitchhiking ghosts there. Madame Leota, there's that gargoyle. And then I think there's like a bat framing the top there. And the other thing that I didn't mention, and I'm not 100% sure if all of the puzzles are done by the same artist. This artist is Darren Wilson. If he does have like a website, I'll link it down below, but they are certainly a similar style to the other ones. So they may very well be by him too, unless they, I don't know. I appreciate that they just really help support other artists. This is just a thing that Disney does in a lot of ways. It wouldn't exist without artists. The next one we have, basically everything that's left is decor. We have us just a set of towels. I guess you can call these kitchen towels. They may or may not go in my bathroom. I'm not decided yet because we might be talking about a Haunted Mansion bedroom. And I have a bathroom attached to that bedroom. But we'll get into that in another video. But it's just the classic wallpaper. The purple is on display here. Okay, we're not holding back. I would say we probably didn't do a lot in the blue department, or they didn't, because we do get a bit of blue, obviously, because of the ghosts in Haunted Mansion, but pretty simple, classic. I would say this one actually does read like it might absorb. It's not terry cloth, but it's almost like that fabric. And then the back of it is just a purple color, and then it's got a black trim on the bottom. So I only got one. I didn't want to, but we done stopped ourselves. The next item, I was so excited, and I don't even know, like, is it my it's not my top, but it's really, really up there because we will be using this piece probably in that room. Yeah, we're just going to get into a video all about it. And this one is going to be embracing that purple again. And it is a Haunted Mansion throw. And it's like this really pretty, really soft, I think I would say crushed velvet, maybe is the best way to describe that. These bits aren't elevated at all. It's all part of the same sort of layer, but we're getting like the whole Haunted Mansion pattern all around. Just had to have it. One thing I will say about throws like this, it just comes with the territory, as if you do have cats, and if your dogs are anything like cats, this is probably not going to be the throw for you. So I think for me, I'm going to be putting it in a place where maybe they can't reach it and hope for the best. 50 by 60 inches. I think I will hold off taking it out. Mostly, I'm just quite nervous that my rings are going to catch on it, and I don't want that to happen. So we will maybe do that together when we start decorating, because we will be decorating with this stuff. The next one I was the most excited by, and is one of the ones that I really, really, really wanted to find at Disneyland, and is quite a haul to bring back. Flying on a plane and all that, we did buy a carry-on situation. Carry-on? Checked bag? A checked bag. And I really wasn't sure I'd find it because we couldn't find it anywhere. And I asked somebody and they were able to check the stock, and they said, like, basically your chances are really low and there might be like 1 or 2 maybe at this one place. So I lost my daggone mind when we got to that place, and they did have a couple left because I have certainly not seen this one online. And for those of you like who get anxiety, who are on the spectrum, I really, really recommend exploring weighted blankets, maybe even other weighted items. There are other weighted items out there you can explore, but I just like can't sleep without a weighted blanket most days. And they came out with a Haunted Mansion weighted blanket. It is a hefty one. It's apparently 11 pounds, this blanket. And this one I think I will take out so we could see what it looks like. But if you can't tell, like, there is a pattern on there. It's quite subtle. I'll hold up. There is one standout piece. We got the Haunted Mansion sort of symbol sign situation right there. This one is also 50 by 60, so it's going to be the same dimensions as the other one. Okay, here we go. I'm so excited. This was probably one of the more spendy items, I think. I feel like it was maybe $60 to $70 range. but I'm going to get so much use out of this. I also feel like it's a really pretty color because I don't want everything to just be purple. I don't want everything to just be black. And gray is also a color that, outside of the blue, color palette wise, that just covers the whole gamut when it comes to Haunted Mansion. There we are. You can really see the pattern now. So it is that wallpaper pattern, but it's so subtle. It still has like this kind of quiltedness, because if you come across weighted blankets that don't have a little bit of stitching throughout, it's my understanding, because I've always like done a lot of research and read reviews, is that the beading or whatever they're using can really like shift around. So it seems they knew that, because we have these like square stitches throughout the whole thing to keep it kind of evenly placed, whatever weight they're using in this one. And it is a weighty one, okay? I mean, at least the whole thing. And then the trim looks like that right there. And the back side is like a different color blue. So here's the pattern size, and the back side is like more of a bluish gray right there. So yeah, absolutely love it. Definitely one of my top items from Disney, and just like this year. Speaking of top items, I'm just leaving the best for last, honestly. I love it all, or I wouldn't have gotten it. This item is available online last I checked, and it is a set of bookends. And these bookends are the statues that you'll see when you first, at least at Disneyland, I can't speak to Disney World, it's been too long, I don't remember it. But when you're first walking down the actual entrance of the mansion, you're passing all the portraits, they're right there looking at you, literally like following you and turning. So they had both of them as bookends. That's another thing I will say, is if you are ordering things online, Disney does a really good job at protecting things. I mean, I don't think we'd have ever had anything break that wasn't our fault. All right, here is our first bookend. So we have the statue. I don't know his name. I don't know if you guys want to let me know his name. I could obviously look it up if he is named, but this is one of the two right there. And then it has this black kind of, not base, background behind him. And my hands are shaking because these suckers are actually weighty, as you would hope a bookend would be. They need to hold the books. So there is that side, and then the back side, even though it's going to be pressed against books, does say the Haunted Mansion right there. And then the base is like, it's got a little bit of velvet to it, but they did even put these little like kind of rubbery like silicone nubs there, so it's not scratching up your surface. Again, the details, I appreciate it. And then we have our lady statue. Again, feel free to put it in the comments if she has a name. I will get to know all the names, because when you have an obsession, well, you just dive fully in. And I like that there's even like a little bit of space. It feels like a complete statue. They didn't attach it to the back there. But yeah, I feel like they play really, really well together. How cool are they? And both of them say the Haunted Mansion in the back, and I'm sweating even more. Not just because of the heat, but they are quite heavy. The last item might be my top. I'll tell you my top favorite ones. I think it's quite obvious so far. But this one, I was the most nervous to bring back on the plane. So we definitely made sure it was in our carry-on. And I have not seen it show up on the shop, but you would have seen it in a vlog if you had watched those vlogs. And it is this Haunted Mansion light up candle. Let's take it out. And I don't think I've even turned this sucker on. I just made sure it survived the trip. Let me show it to you unlit first. Oh God, I'm so nervous to lift this thing. Here is that candle. It is glorious. Okay, like this is proper metal of some kind. I don't know if it's cast iron, but it is a metal of some kind. And it even has that like really pretty, like washed blue over top the black that gives it that ghostly Haunted Mansion look. And then there is the lid. This does come off, so I'm just holding that nice and tightly there. And then here's the back of our bat. And this candle, like I've come across obviously other like candles that are LED or light up or whatever. It's just I've never seen anything like this. It's so unique. It has its own little pattern on the candle, but even the little votive holding it is so pretty. I love the detail right here, which is also continued metal across the whole thing. I think there's a reason this one wasn't particularly cheap. I don't think it was outrageous either. but the base reflects the top. I like the little line of blue on each one there. And then you have the Haunted Mansion logo on the outside, just sort of etched there. Really, really pretty. And then the candle. So the candle is, I'm pretty sure LED, but it's not a real candle, but it's so cool. It's got in black the wallpaper on the whole thing, but the candle does light up. So let's get it sorted out. And I did not know, but it comes with a remote control to do all sorts of things. So here we are. Here's our candle. So the candle lights up. Hopefully that's coming across, and it's color changing if you can't tell with your eyeballs there. Going from like every color under the sun. Not really. I think it's like 5 or 6 colors. It's just so cool and magical. And I'm not going to lie, I was quite tempted to get more than one, but he made a really good point of just like, it's more unique when it is the only piece, as long as I don't break it, to have out and about. So I'm excited to decorate with this item. I'm excited to decorate with all of these items. I said I was going to mention my tops. It's so hard to say because I love Haunted Mansion so much, and you will see, if you haven't already, a number of other Haunted Mansion inspired things because we are just going to go all in. But I would probably say this item, the cup, the weighted blanket, the actual blanket, and the puzzle were my top items. I loved everything. But yeah, I would love to know in the comments down below. Firstly, are you also a Haunted Mansion fan? And let me know of any really good merchandise out there because I want to get my paws on it, or anything that's like a good replica or very in-world feeling. I would love to know all of your thoughts in the comments down below. But until next time, my magical friends, remember to love what you love with everything you have and keep making magic. And we'll see you in the next video. Super smooth. Bye. And then this little insect. And I'm not sure. Oh, okay, nobody's talking to you. And I don't know all the fancy things. Okay, excuse me. Can you shove this thing up its butt real quick?